So let's talk about some other things I know that God is doing for you. Let's go back. What would you say? 'Cause I know you mentioned being a mom. You mentioned, what it's like being just busy in life, having responsibilities, being a wife, having things, people pulling on you. What would you say to other women that feel like they're just in that cycle where everything and everyone is pulling on them and they feel like I don't have time. I don't have time to really seek the Lord like I want to, or they're feeling overwhelmed and they
Hmm.
don't know what to do in the season. How would you encourage them?
Well, first of all, you need to know that you have to make time. Number one, God is not an option. You have to make time. Two, I've learned that God is with us in the mundane. He's with us in those intricate details. Um, and the more we invite him in, he can even help us navigate the busyness of your life. I always remember that's another thing that God keeps pulling me back to in this season. And really, I created the journal for others, but it ended up blessing me right back too, and like got my edges together because it reminded me that sometimes the one needful thing is to sit at his feet. You know, the one needful thing, even though there's going to always be something that you,
Always be
it's going to
dishes.
be always be dishes.
Always be
My
laundry.
God, you're going to always have laundry.
Yes.
Okay, you just have to make peace with the fact that it's not going to
Especially when
always
your
be
kids are
perfect.
young.
Oh my
That's the
God,
thing. Yes.
you have to make peace with the fact that it's not going to be perfect. But as long as you are able to make your house function,
Yes.
long as there's love,
Yeah.
the spirit of God is there, there's peace.
Yeah.
That's what you strive for. But you need your father. You need the spirit of God, and you need the wisdom of God, and you need the help of God. But and you can find little pockets just saying,
Really
Lord, I love you. You in your car, over the sink, scrubbing the dishes. God, I just need your strength. I need to feel your presence right now. I acknowledge your presence. The Bible says, in all your ways,
Yeah.
acknowledge him. And all in the garden. I done got a little green thumb going on. I got a weed whacker, Adrian. A whole weed and a chainsaw. In all your ways, huh? A screwdriver, okay? Saw. My God. But even in doing those things, braiding your child's hair, wiping tears out of their face, whatever the case may be, God,
It's right there in the midst of it.
he's right there.
Yeah.
Where can you go to escape from his presence? Nowhere.
Yeah. That's
Make
right.
your bed in hell, he there too.
Right.
And
Try to escape.
where you
Right there
going?
waiting for you.
Nope,
Yeah.
still here.
Yeah.
Still
Yeah.
see ya. Right? So it's the quicker that really is the acknowledgement piece. So the moment you acknowledge is the moment you'll get that rush, you'll get that drop. Like, no, I'm right here.
Yeah.
So what I would say is, first of all, remember, before anything else, you are his daughter.
That's right.
You're not just what you do for other people.
Right.
You're not. You are his daughter. And that is something like when I was in my most broken part of my life to date, and I've been broken here and there. You're gonna get broken.
Yeah.
Here and there. But when I was in my most broken state, I'll never forget. I went to the altar to get prayer, and shout out to my amazing spiritual parents, prophetess Madeline Best, Apostle Hal T. Best. But I went to the altar, and I'll never forget this as long as I live. Um, Prophetess Madeline was putting oil on everybody else. When it was my turn, she put the oil down, and she got a bottle of Deer Park water.
Oh.
True story. Put the bottle, poured water in her hand, and kept flicking me with water. And she says, the Holy Spirit said to shock you. You need to be shocked because you forgot that you are God's daughter first. And you would have thought I had got all the oil that day. I did not. In that moment, I remembered, that's right. Before I was somebody's mama, somebody's wife, somebody's minister, come on, prophet, intercessor. I was his daughter. And so he's like, I need to go put my head on his chest. I need to sit at his feet again. So don't lose that, don't lose sight of that, and everything that it will be there. And I promise you, God is faithful. He will make it all work.
Right.
The world will not fall apart if you can't, if you take the time away. The world will not fall apart that God can't put it back together,
Right.
or redeem your time.
I feel like, especially as women, as mothers, there's so much of this, this feel like we have to give it all out to everybody else, and you can look up one day, and I remember a wise woman, a woman of God, telling me one time that burnout, it doesn't happen overnight.
No,
it's little things
that's
here
right.
and there, and then you look up, and years down the line, you can't figure out why you're completely depleted.
Come on.
And when all along, like you said, it's the little moments.
That's right.
You allow the Lord to pour back into you, where you're consistently
Yep.
sitting at His hand. Let's talk about the fact that we have to be honest about the fact that, especially when your children are small, I feel led to say this to mothers, especially when your children are small, you can't compare yourself with Sister So and So over here, who is either single or has no children, or children are grown or out of the house, or wherever walk of life someone else is. They have all the help they need. You have to let the Lord show you, kind of your spiritual
That's
regimen.
right.
And whether it's, 15 minutes in the morning before your kids come all climbing the bed with you, and it's time to start doing hair and showers and all that kind of stuff, or, if it's at night when everybody goes to bed, like you said, finding moments, pockets throughout the day. If you're in a season where you got an hour or two and you can just, hunker down, that's great. But
yeah, and you actually helped me with that. You helped me with that a long time ago. I was a new mommy, and I was forever grateful for you. You was like, no, you got to find what works for you. You know, and I feel like either you were ministering, or I think we hung out one time. You were trying to, okay, come on, sis, you're struggling. Let me help you out. Come on, let's go get our nails done, and we're gonna talk about this. And you need that too. You need to have other people, your tribe, your I call them my pride. I do, because we're lionesses, right? We take care of our cubs, right? You got to have people that every now and again can pull you to the side, pull you out of that, and step away, because that's even the Spirit of God too, to say, listen, yours doesn't have to look like this and like everybody else's for you to be doing it effectively. You just got to stay in your lane and allow the Lord to show you what works for you. It's okay to glean, and I was able to glean from you. I'm like, yo, she got 4 of these mugs. Like, what in the world? Like, I was like, and yeah, like, how do you do this? But like you said, in one season, because there was a season, I could get up and tithe my day to the Lord. But I didn't have children. I didn't have a husband. I didn't have all the responsibilities. Now, when your life changes, you got to go with the flow of your life. But
grace for that.
Exactly. And you taught me that too. That God will give you the grace, that you will find time. Yeah, you might have to get up a little bit early and spend the time, but find the time.
Yeah, that's outstanding.
Yep.
What else do we want to talk about?
Oh. I got a question for you, because now you're in a different place in your life, right? You now have you getting questions too, girl. Okay. But I'm saying, how are you with, I guess, because you're pretty much empty nest now, right? You're an empty nest.
Keep trying to come back. I mean, we're technically on paper, we're empty nesters.
Okay, but then you have grandbabies now. Like, what has that been like for you?
Wow, it's been an adjustment. I mean, it's been a wonderful adjustment. I mean, at first, I gotta say, after so many years of it being all about, the kids and the schedule and the carpooling people back and forth to school and to events, and you look up and it's like, house is kind of quiet. Like, what do we do now?
Yeah.
I will say though, people say that when like your kids, as they if they grow up, like, it gets like so much easier. In some ways it does.
Yeah.
In some ways they never stop needing it, because still, a day does not go by that somebody doesn't call me and like, Mom, can you help me with this? Mom, how do I do this?
Yeah.
Mom, can you send me money? Mom, can you come? But I love still being needed.
Yes.
But I found that, okay, I had to shift and go back into some of the things that God poured in me that I kind of put off to the side.
Yeah.
Either literally because I didn't have the time and it was just not the season, or because I used it as an excuse.
Right.
And now the excuse is gone. It's like the Lord's like, okay, well now we have the time, so
Like,
what are we gonna?
what are we doing?
What are we doing? Let's pull this back off the shelf.
Yes.
And so I'm really enjoying just this next season of life, this season of life, and seeing where God is taking us. Yeah.
Awesome. That's awesome.
But you know, your children, they're not babies.
They're not
still,
babies anymore.
They're younger, but they're not.
And I actually love this age group. I really do. I love teaching this age group. Before I was a mommy, I always loved this age group, right? And so I'm grateful now that both of my kids are in that 7 to 12-year-old, because it's kind of like they're not little kids anymore, so they're kind of dependent or independent. And then but they're not adults either stage. So I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it, seeing them come into their own, and how they're able to somewhat do for themselves, but at the same time, so it's kind of like I just have to put things in place for them now, where I don't have to do as much. I just put the stuff in place. I make sure, the clothes are clean, or, and they can, you know, do their own thing. Yeah. And I love the fact they can make their own peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and, oatmeal, and like, and my daughter was like, can I go in the kitchen and do this? Sure. And you can kind of look over shoulders. So it's kind of, some moments is bittersweet, because it's like, oh, I miss you this little, and you used to do this. But then I also am enjoying seeing how they're blossoming. And then I also sit back and I tear up like, wow, God, I was able to do this with your help and your grace. Like, these little babies, and I was petrified. I'm checking their breath every 5 minutes. Now they're alive, like, and you helped me do that. So I'm looking at that and I'm like, man, and every time one of them kids have a birthday, I cry. My daughter goes, Mom, you're not going to cry. Yes, I am. You don't. I said, when you have a child one day, you'll understand. Because when you have, no, and when you becoming a mom, I had so much anxiety. That first pregnancy, oh my God, I was like, me? You thinking me to be a mom? You want me? I'm the mother. It's me. And God had to really, really help me with that. He had to deal with me in that. I was like, okay, I read somewhere that whatever the mom feels, it transfers to the baby. I don't want the baby to think, I don't want you here. I do. And so God did a lot of healing in me, and saying, no, you're fully capable. And then I began to switch my prayers, like, okay, Lord, well, show me their purpose. Show me who they are, and show me who I'm raising, so that I can point them in the right direction. And so to see, I've been sitting back and just marveling at God, seeing them do and function the way that He showed it to me. You know what I mean? And so it's like, wow, like you let me carry that. I like those memes that say, see this? I made this. Look at this. Yeah, I mean, it's just
mini me's.
Yeah.
Mini yous.
Oh my God. And that, let's talk about that. Dealing with seeing yourself in your children, and how it either make you check yourself and get some stuff together, or give God thanks and praise, like, wow, they got it, they got their mind, they got a good head on their shoulders, and I'm doing some things right. I'm not totally jacking it up. Yeah, my children on a regular basis humble a sister. I'm like, oh, okay, let me stop doing that, because I don't want you doing that. I'm like, ooh, and I'm like, I can't even put you on punishment, because both of us gonna be on.
There's always one. There's usually one.
God,
that's a lot like you.
It's comical. My daughter, she looks like my husband, but she sometimes acts like me. And then my son looks like me, and then he does stuff, and I'm like, y'all got that.
It's funny though, because I grew up as a really sensitive child, very sensitive, and I appreciate my mom. My mom's watching. Yeah, I cried over everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just was always very easily moved,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's funny though, watching. So now I have daughters, and I have children that in different ways are like that. One of my daughters in particular is very much like me in that regard, and so it's funny because it's given me a lot of compassion, and empathy, and to be able to watch her navigate that. But then I also appreciate my parents for how realizing it's not as easy.
No.
it
No,
seems to know always the right things to say and how to,
no,
how to navigate
no.
that.
And being a prophetic person, it's very special because you do grow up a little bit more sensitive than the rest of the world. And God bless the parents who have to raise them. But I know exactly what you're saying because both of my children, I see the elements that I had as a child, and it's so true. It's like now, like if you didn't get as much compassion as you would have liked, you're able to give it out because you can understand it, you know. So like I think the interesting thing for me is like how God helps me parent because they always say, well, there's no rule book or no playbook for parenting. But what happens is, but technically there is if you read the word, if you got the word of God, it'll help you. And then if you have the spirit of God, he will guide you and how to navigate that. So a lot of the approach has been like, what did you need when you were that age that you craved? You didn't really get it, but you crave that. And how can you minister to that in your child? And so that's what I end up having to do. And in that, I find that, you know, I'm healing it in her, but I'm also getting healed too.
That's, I mean, that's a whole word right there. I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes I've learned that too. Sometimes, and this is not a bash against
No,
parents because
absolutely not.
you know,
You do the
we
best you
all do the
can.
best we can, and any parent can say later on they can look back and at some point you're going to have a child say, I wish you had done a little bit more of this or a little bit more of this. But I believe the Lord gives us grace and He gives us
That's right.
what they need at that time.